What's going on, kings and queens? Another episode of Live to Be Remembered podcast. I'm here with the squad, fellas. How you doing? And most importantly, how was your holidays, man?
I'll start. I'm doing very well. And the holidays, I couldn't ask for a better holiday. In fact, this is one of the greatest holidays I've had in my entire life. Very, very blessed and thankful for
I can tell you was riding on your IG stories in the Richie Rich type of pic. Man, I'm like, hey,
it.
and you know how you got bread? Look at people's stories when they're driving in the car. Look at the gas needle. People got bread then.
Yeah.
Now full. Almost broke them.
Hey, it's crazy.
Hey man,
Praise God, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Ken, Willie, how was your holidays, man?
Go ahead, Willie. Man, mine was good, man. You know, I had a homeboy come over and my best friend wife came over because he deployed. You know, thank you for your service. So while he deployed, you know, I had my god kids come over and play with them, and you know, it was good. It was a break that was needed to just remind me, like, hey, family is all we got.
I love it. Dr. Ken, what you got, man?
Yeah, no, everything was cool, man. Anytime things can be laid back, you can just chill and enjoy and let your mind just relax. It's always good. So holidays is good, man. Much needed time with the family. You know, same old, man. How about yourself?
Man, I got blood. I got me a 49ers starter jacket and a 49ers hat with a leather piece, man. Woo! Bro, that's all I needed, man. I was amped off that. I know, man. You ain't feeling the Niners, man. But
Not at all, bro. You know what I'm saying?
hey, hey, man. But overall, man, got to spend it with the loved ones. That's what matters the most, man. And yeah, man, that's where we at with it. So as everybody can see, man, it's tuning in, man. Thank you all for tuning in, consistently being a part of this last podcast we had. Fire. We you know, the guys killed it. I'm like, man, I gotta get off here because I mean they spitting heat. Uh but we wanted to come back and just, you know, close the year out with something that I think would be very valuable to the, you know, other males out there, but also maybe the queens, to just get a better understanding of how, you know, us men, you know, operate, and some things that we have been probably dealing with. Because I mean, you know, we all go through some go through, but it's what it's how you look at it, right? It's how you shape your perspective around it that makes you who you are. So, you know, for me, y'all, man, I say, man, the most important thing that I really for this year, to be honest, man, the most difficult thing for me to do out of my 29 years of living was learning how to open up to another male. Never did it in my life. This was the first year that I ever opened up to, you know, another male, multiple of them, and let them know how I was feeling, and not the church feeling like I'm blessed, knowing that I'm broken. Like really be honest and say, yo, I'm not doing good. I'm at like maybe a 67.7%. I am feeling suicidal. I feel like, you know, life's not worth it right now. Things are not looking how they supposed to look, you know, and I had conversations with Corey, Willie, my boy Manny, and other individuals, man, who really helped me to navigate through that storm. Because, you know, one thing I realized is that you can't heal what you don't talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to heal, you got to let it out, you know? And like we talked about, I believe we talked about last week, all of us, is that we've been taught from knee high, don't cry, don't show emotions. Not understanding that you're human. You need to show emotion because you feel better. At the end of the time, when you're done crying, I don't know about y'all, but when I cry, I feel better after. I'm like, ooh, got it off my chest, feel good. But we just be trying to sit there and hold the tears, man, and wonder why our cheeks got six packs. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, yo, let it out, man. Like, talk to another male. Now, I will say too, you got to be very selective on who you share your stuff with, because people are preying on you, right? But I'm thankful to, you know, have people like y'all in my circle, and just to be able to have somebody to vent to. But that's the one thing that I really had to learn how to do. It took me 29 years to do that, y'all, and I finally did it this year. So that's my piece right there that I would say. Anybody else need to jump in, jump in.
Mine was I still struggle with it. Is asking for help. I mean, asking for help. I mean, in any, I'm gonna be honest. Asking for help financially, not just I think financially is just like I always had this pride and ego thing to where like I never wanted to ask another man for something, and I'm gonna be honest, and this is why it triggers me because my dad said these words to me was mom and dad got a divorce, and he was like, you only call me when you want something. And when he told me that, like from that day on, it was like I would never ask a human being, a man, anybody for nothing else. Because I felt like for me to ask someone who brought me into this world, I didn't ask to be here, y'all get a divorce, and it's not my fault, and I'm asking you for something that I need because I'm struggling, you tell me the only time I talk to you is when I need something. And that did something to me because it was just like for years I had friends, but my friends I never let them in, financially if I needed something. And having a circle, like God put me in a situation to where it was like I'm going to put people in your circle that you can hand the torch to when they're not going to tell you we only talk when you need something, even though y'all don't talk daily. But the fact is y'all built a relationship, and it was a struggle. I mean, all the letters capital for me to say, hey, I'm hurting, let me borrow something, let me hold something. And the times that I've asked those people that I cared about so much that it was like, especially another man, I felt like as me asking, I can just hear my dad's voice in the person that I'm asking, like, man, like they're not gonna come through. Even though they told me time and time, like, you need anything, let me know. And when people say that, sometimes it triggers because it's like sometimes people don't mean what they say when they say it. It's kind of like if somebody just died and you be like, hey, if you need anything, let me know. And I come to you and be like, hey, I need 4 stacks to bury my mama. And then you be like, well, what had happened was like, nah, you said if I need anything to come holler at you. So, I'm glad that I had people in my circle that I trust, that I can practice getting that out to where when I do ask, it's a practice for me because I still cringe and it hurts. But then what it is, I'm learning that when I do ask for it, 8 times out of 10, we talk about integrity. I want to give it back. And when I bust my butt to give it back, they always return it back to me and be like, nah, you good. And I'll be like, man, like that does something even deeper for me because it's like I want to be able when I'm down, when I'm short, when I'm broken to say, hey, like I'm struggling, let me borrow, let me hold, and I can give it back. And not feel like some kind of way because we may not talk every day, or I don't have to struggle with seeing or hearing that, well, you only talk to me when you want something. Knowing that, as men, sometimes we don't trust a lot of people. So like knowing that when I do ask, I have to get out of my head where if I ask, I'm taking it out of your mouth to where it's like I'm answering the question when I don't even know what answer you're gonna give me. But in my mind, I'm already thinking you're gonna say no. And it's not for me to do that. So I'm learning, I'm still struggling with it. But the people that I have in my circle are helping me because it's allowing me to ask, and I'm feeling more not comfortable, but I'm overcoming and going through what really sometimes still has a hold on me. So that's something that I'm still struggling with, man.
Love it. I love it. I love it. Who's next up? Ken or Corey? Don't matter. Let's go, man. Let's get this. You want Corey? Go ahead, Corey.
The 2020 has been an emotional roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? For myself and a lot of other people, I had a lot of great ups. I had a lot of downs. And what I could say is I struggled this year with my ability to increase my capacity for disappointment. And I also struggle with really having a relationship with God, where I was tried so much over the last couple years that I stopped believing in God, to be honest. And this year really solidified a lot of things for me and put things into perspective in regards of my outlook on pain, Christianity, God, the Bible, all those components. And due to what I experienced and the hurt and the trauma that was associated with the things that, I went through, I just said, God, it's not real. The Bible's not real. I don't believe in none of it. I feel like the Bible's a way to manipulate and oppress people. And what I realized is that, and I just realized this here recently, is that my outlook and what I thought church was supposed to be wasn't really it. I was more in bondage and religiosity than I ever was when I was in the world. And I have allowed people who have titles and authority dictate my relationship with God. So much so that it pushed me away from him and caused me to just not believe anymore. And a lot of people had a lot to say about my walk and my relationship, because when you're coming from a place of being a congregation member for 17 plus years, and then you become a pastor and you take over pastoralship, and then you start your own ministry, and then everything that you knew about ministry crumbles. Your foundation is ripped from up under you. And you're like, well, God, if you were in so much control, why are you allowing this to happen to me? And it wasn't until recently where I realized that some things either happen to you or some things happen for you. And I believe that all the things that happened to me over the course of these last years was a crushing that I needed to position me to get to where I'm at today. Everything that I'm operating in, everything that I'm fulfilling, everything that is manifesting right before my eyes, I believe I needed to go through the valley to get to where I'm at today. But it still like behooves me, because of the simple fact is like, well, God, if you knew that this type of crushing was going to question my relationship and even your existence, why would you allow me to go through it? Right? But even in the crushing, God already calculated a restoration process in my life. And I believe that God knew that there was going to come a point in time in my life where he was going to have to restore me back under him in a healthy way, where religious is completely dismantled, right? There is no religion there. There's exposure to false teachers and preachers and people that run these churches like cults. Like, he was allowing me to see these things, but I didn't care for the pain that I had to endure. 2020 really tried me. I had suicide ideation in 2020. I wasn't happy early on. I really wanted to end my life, because I'm like, I just can't find my niche. I can't find my groove. It's like everything is crumbling. And I don't know why. People will equate it, well, maybe because you stopped believing. No, stuff was happening before that even started. So I think now, man, I'm in a position where I'm starting to see the wins. I'm starting to really feel free again in who I am, and knowing that God has got my back, and it doesn't have to look like what everybody else says it has to. I broke away from the narrative of other people. I've broken away the shackles and chains that they placed upon me, and say, well, you can only live if you live this way. But I figured out how to live for myself the way God has me to live for him. And I'm so much more freer. I'm enjoying my life. Things are manifesting. The blessings upon me. The anointing cannot be revoked. You know what I mean? And the gifts are irrevocable according to scripture. So I had to learn how to deal with, I had to learn to go from tragedy to triumph. And that's where I'm at today. And that's what I had to deal with in 2020. And man, the blessings that are upon my life right now, I know it's nothing but God. Because when God do things to you and through you, when you know it's not you, you know it's him. And coincidences are God's way of staying anonymous. You know, so that's where I'm at, man. I love it.
Well, we know that you and Willie are definitely flowing in anointing because your gas tank about to break on full. And we'll leave that for another podcast. Ken, what you got, man?
Um, man, you know, my biggest struggle with 2020, you know, I've been in business for a little bit over a decade now. And just to learn how to be a leader, right? Okay. Not like, you know, this is what I said, let's go, you know, not like that. But lead in a way like, you know, because Donald Trump, you know, a lot of people don't want to admit it, but he's a leader in some ways, right? So I had to choose which way I wanted to lead my company. Do I want to lead it like Trump or do I want to lead it like Obama? And not from a Democratic or Republican perspective, but just the way that you go about interacting with people. Um, because where I come from, it was get down or lay down. And that's how I got what I got, you know? So, hey, the way I'm gonna run this company is get down or lay down, right? But as you know, we get older, we refine ourselves, and we start to move in different circles. You start to figure out that you don't need that armor anymore. You still need a certain amount of armor, but you don't need that style of armor. Okay, so I really had to work on my emotional intelligence, which is something that I feel like as men we're taught to shoot. Like I got to tell everybody, I have no problem letting people know I go to therapy, man, regularly, right? So one of the things that my therapist said was that as young men, we're taught to turn that emotional switch off, right? But then we get married and we have these families and lifelong relationships, and we have to turn it back on, but it feels very awkward, very cumbersome. We stumble, we don't know how to communicate effectively. Um, a lot of us, and I'm talking about myself, communicate pain through anger when I could easily say, man, you hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? So just that maturation process that I can lead not with an iron fist. I can lead with love and I can lead with kindness. Um, you know, and just like just like you brothers went through, you know, it's a pruning process. You know, I've hired guys, I've had to fire guys for multiple reasons. And really and truly, right? When I first started the business, it was, well, you know, people are lazy, they don't want to work, da 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 da. But you know what I realized this year? What is it about me that people don't want to work for me, or people don't want to work? And I even changed that. People don't want to work with me, because that's a very condemning thing. What is it about me that people do not want to work hard for or work hard with? So I had to work, man, I had to work on self. And there's an arrogance there, right? That I had to deal with that, man, I'm arrogant as hell, you know, to think that, you know, you should be honored to, or any kind of talk like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just arrogance, bro. And it's arrogant and it's ignorant. And it's a lot of things that I had to work on this year to increase my emotional intelligence and stop seeing people like objects and start treating them like human beings, just like me. Because and one of the things I got lost in with, man, I'm a numbers nerd, dude. Like I'm talking Excel documents. I'm looking at percentages. I see the gaps. I see the loopholes. It's just a blessing that God has given me as it relates to business in that area. I can scale a business. I can see how it needs to scale in a way to be profitable and pay people better than the competition. I can see all of that, right? But the emotional intelligence is, because I would pay guys more than the industry, but they still wouldn't work for me. And that was God's way of saying, it's not about the money. You have to work on yourself and how you lead people. You have to lead people in love and not with malice in your heart. Because I had a lot of pain that I had to deal with again, coming from that get down and lay down mentality, you know, that's some things that I had to personally deal with. And like that book I just showed y'all with the law of success, it's almost making a covenant with yourself and God in the way that you choose to move throughout the world. How do I choose to carry myself when in adversity? You know, talking about character when nobody's looking. When you piss me off, how do I handle that? Do I whoop your ass? Excuse me. Do I put something on you? Or, you know, do I go to physical? Do I get back to where I was from? Or do I think of a more intelligent, more emotionally intelligent way to go about the situation and seeing value in that, bro? And that's been a big breakthrough for me because I got people that work with me, not for me. They work with me. And man, they work harder than I've ever had anybody ever work. And it's not about the money. Don't get me wrong. I'm still going to pay you higher than the industry standard because I want your family to be okay, because I care about you. I don't see you as an object. You see what I'm saying? You're not an object to me. You're not a something like an expense on my balance sheet that I need to maneuver and do all. You're a person, bro. You're a husband. You're a wife. You got kids. You're trying to live and maintain. You don't want to work yourself to death. You want the balance. You want a work-life balance. You want your family to be okay. You want to see your kid walk across the stage. All of these different life moments that I wasn't mature enough in my early years to handle. It all came down, and I feel like God, and I tell my fiance this, I feel like God is moving within me in a way that is, it's almost like I told my boy, like, man, you know, you see somebody walking, you handle them, and they got a booger in their nose, and nobody tell them nothing. You know, like he just walk by you, like, and then you get home, like, oh man, I had a booger in my nose the whole day, like, you know, and it's that realization and the shame associated with it. Like, man, I've been handling people like this. Like, man, how does that, man, how do I look? Because people actually tell a lot more than what they think they telling when they communicate, and the way they communicate, the way they carry themselves. How am I representing my father, my mother? You know what I mean? And the way that I move throughout the world. So I don't want to get long-winded, but that's one of the biggest things for me in 2020 that was a really, really big challenge. And it's still a challenge, but the fact that I'm aware of it, the awareness part, that really, really helps me to temper that negative behavior.
Man, like, hey, and everybody loving this, man.
Yeah.
Loving this right now because I mean, I've never seen male get on here and talk about things that they're dealing with. It's, first of all, it's hard for a man to open up, period. But
Thanks.
get on here on our platform on social media and just say the things that we're dealing with is major. So let's just give some practical tips because you know we could sit here and talk all day, right? But we really want to try to be a service to everybody. So let's just start with this question. Um, how do you identify your circle? How do you like learn how to trust people? Like, what does that look like? Because everybody says build a team, you know, X, Y, and Z, but what are some attributes that you should be looking for? And you know, also, how do you be able to, like Ken said, like look within yourself and say, yo, like I'm messing up. Like, you know, there's things that I need to work on as an individual. You know what I'm saying? So let's just go around. Let's play hot potato. Let's just add some value, man. Willie, I see you already ready to go. So go ahead.
um well, so for me it was, I like you said, identifying the things where I was weak, where I struggled. So like if I struggled with the fact that I don't trust people, like the only way for me to trust people is the actual find the opportunity and to say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to second guess it. I'm going to see a person's character and just go through it, because the thing is, each and every last one of us has a certain character, and something about men, we give this energy and this vibe that we can just kind of see where it's going by what you're saying and what I'm paying attention to, how your posture is. So, you know, like I said, when I first met you, it was just like, okay, I knew your character. Met Corey, I knew his character, like I knew what I was getting, but when I looked at y'all, I seen where I was weak. So, and not to say like weak as I'm less than, it was just I seen growth where if I went to you, I can get growth. I get to Corey, Kenneth, so on and so on. So I identified within myself. I was like, man, I really struggle with this. So let me step out and just say, I'm going to do the things out of in my character to like Kenneth said, like when you reach in yourself, is people want to work with you. So when I did that, you took a chance on me to work with me. And in return, I was like, I'm going to show you what you did by just giving me a chance because I was weak in this area on trying to build relationships with, with the man. And then same thing with Corey. Like people, y'all go back and hit a story how we met. It was like I took a chance to know that, you know, here's a man that, grew up in the way how he is and trust people. And then here I am being who I am, was able to get over that hump, knowing that it could be a chance he could reject me. But he didn't, and he embraced that. And then I had to say, okay, see, he did that, and I'm gonna show him even more. So what I did was I learned to stop putting expectations on things and put my standards to the character of myself. So when I went to you, now I'm able to say, hey, with no problem, I struggle with this because I know where I struggle, you're strong, and when I put that together, that makes us successful. You see what I'm saying? That's why we are here today. Same thing with Corey. Like I can't come to you with a Corey issue. I can't go to Corey with a like, you know what I'm saying? So y'all both have y'all, it's like a tree, but y'all both have a branch where I need to go get fruit from this one because I'm struggling. I need to go get fruit from that way, and I was struggling. So when I identified where I was weak, because when I came to you, Will, you said the same thing. You was like, be the man where you are. And I was trying to go here without being the man here. So when you told me that, I was like, that's what I got to do. Be the man where I'm at. And then I can branch off to other ones to bring my circle to say, hey, this is my circle. And that's why I always tell people there's difference between having friends and having a circle. Like I said, God had 12 disciples, but at some point he had to lead the 12 and tell three, and then he had to leave three to go by himself. So when you identify that, most 9 times out of 10 is people that where you're weak, they are strong in an area to where you can honestly say, hey, I struggle with this, because I tell you what, the things that I struggle with, none of y'all struggle the way that I do, because that's where you're strong. So if I struggle in that area, I'm approved in it. So knowing that you approved in that area, that's how it manages off. So I would say the step that you would need to take is one, identifying your strengths and your weaknesses within yourself and being honest with yourself. And then the next step would be just step out, knowing that, like you said, you can't do it to everybody, but just know when you do it, you feel comfortable enough to say, you know what, I'm gonna just take a risk. Cause that's all it is. It's taking a risk at the end of the day. Like you never know. It can go either way. But I felt comfortable enough to where if you denied me or rejected me, I was okay with that because I decided to say, hey, I'm going to step out with that risk. Same thing with Corey, same thing with Kenneth, and so on and so on. Like it's up to you, but you have to do it. So that's what I would say.
I love it. Corey, Ken, and then I'll follow up after Ken. What you got, Corey?
Cool. I love the fact that you said, how do you identify your team, right? And your team they should be considered value givers. If your team does not add any value, they're not your team. And what we have to do is get better at not misplacing people in certain positions that they don't belong, right? That's our fault. So when you think about your team, you're going to have your cheerleader, all right? Your cheerleader is going to be the one that's going to cheer you on. They're going to motivate you. They're going to push you to keep going. When you just like, I want to quit, they're going to be the ones that driving force behind your success, right? You got your cheerleader. Then you have your strategist. Your strategist is going to be somebody that can strategically set you up for success. All right. They may not motivate you, they may not cheer you on, but they are very strategic and they want to see you win. You see what I'm saying? And then you have your person that's the shoulder to cry on. All right. That person is just solely there, not to give you advice, not to give you anything, just to allow you to cry, vent, and get it out. You got to have one of those. And then you have your partner. All right. Your partner is going to be the one that's going to advise you. Your partner is going to be the one that has your back. Your partner is going to be the one that you share a lot of your secrets with, right? So you got to structure your team. Like in this season right now, we don't have time for a B team. You need an all-star team in the season that you're in right now, because we've wasted so much time with these so-called team members that really don't have our best interest. See, I'm gonna tell you, your partner and your team in general should not worry about fame and being the face of what it is you're doing. Your team should be concerned about the role that they play and seeing you be successful. You cannot be successful when you're constantly competing with the people that's in your circle. You just can't. So you got to figure out who is the strategist, who is the partner, who is the cheerleader, or who is the shoulder to cry on. And if the value is not reciprocated in your team, that's not a team. You need to get rid of them. Then far as saying, looking into yourself, we get in our own way all the time. So in order for you to really search yourself, you have to get mentally uncomfortable, right? And what I mean by that is this. A lot of times we know what's really going on, but we'll put up this mental roadblock that prevents us from going deeper than what we really need to go. Because you really don't want to deal with yourself, and you really don't want to face yourself in the front in the mirror. So you'll put up this mental block to say, oh man, you know what? I'll work on this surface stuff. No, tear down that barrier and really begin to dig within. It's going to hurt. You're going to find out your doo-doo-doo stink. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you most definitely going to find out that you're not what you think you are. Once you start tapping into the soul of who you are, you're going to see there's a lot of dark things there, right? But it's up to you to say, I want to change these things about myself. I can bring it to your attention, because all I got to do is watch you, and you're going to tell on yourself without saying nothing. So I believe if you really get, like, mentally get uncomfortable, push past that barrier, and really tap into your inner soul and your cortex in your mind and really figure out what is really going on with me. You know, why am I struggling here? What do I need to do to find my purpose and walk in my truth? Like, be honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Stop living everybody else's narrative, and everybody's opinion of you is not your business. You know what I'm saying? It's theirs. And so I just want to encourage you to really tap in and don't misplace and put people in position that they don't need to be. I don't care how comfortable you are with them. I don't care how long you've been knowing them. You cannot turn a strategist into a cheerleader. Just doesn't work. You cannot turn a cheerleader into a partner. It doesn't work. You have to allow these people to function in the role that they've been called to play, because if you put them in the wrong place, you're going to kill them off. It's going to ruin you and your business.
All right, now let's go. LO Cool J in the house. All right.
That work.
Ken, what you got, fam?
No, man. Yo, man, y'all dropping some gems, bro. I'm processing everything. Look. You see me? I'm looking off I'm writing this stuff down, you know, because it's really important, man. One of the things that I'm hearing is, you know, a spirit of discernment. All right, so, man, you got to really look. I'm not really a religious person, but I believe in God. You know, I don't get into the act of doing things, the ritualistic things and stuff like that. That's not my, you know, and I'm not knocking anybody who does. Everybody has their own lane. But man, you have to pray to God for a spirit of discernment, right? I was listening to Willie D the other day. If y'all don't know who that is, Ghetto Boy. Yeah, he legit OG. Talked about, a lot of people say experience is the best teacher, but other people's experience is really the best teacher, because you don't have to take the losses associated with that they've experienced if you are observant. You have to be observant. Pay attention to the things around you. that comes from, man, I'm not by far the hood guy or that's not my thing. But my brother, on the other hand, was that guy. So I was the dude sitting in the cut. My brother would come home and explain certain situations to me about watching people's mannerisms. Watch when you celebrate if they smiling. Look at people when you experience success and how they operate. Do they praise you? Do they big you up? Do they say, man, I love you. I always knew you could do it? Or do they sit back like this? You know, that kind of thing. Be observant. People show you who they are if you be quiet enough. You have to pray. And look, like I said, I'm not a biblical scholar or anything, but there's certain things about the Bible that's legit. Man, being still is legit. If you still, you can hear God speak to you. And a lot of people don't understand that. And I didn't understand it until probably the last year and a half, right? If you sit still long enough, because a lot of us are caught up in the rat race. Oh man, let me do this XYZ. Let me do whatever the things that we put. It's actually things we put in place to block us from ourselves. It's how we cope with certain things. Oh man, I'm about to go work out. Even the most positive looking things can be toxic. That used to be, bro. I used to work out like crazy, but I was running from, even though on the exterior, it's like, oh man, hey, that boy ripped up. That's cool, but am I working out for the right reasons? Am I putting things in place to take my mind off of what I really don't want to deal with? Right, man. When you pray for discernment, and sometimes, man, when I pray, bro, I get scared. I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes when I pray, I'm fearful because I know that I'm praying for something that it's a storm that God has to send me through in order to acquire what it is that I'm praying for. So I know that it's a pruning process that has to occur in order for me to get to that other side. So for that spirit of discernment, I'm gonna have to go through some situations that it's like, oh man, that was, and I'm just being real, just we talking like, hey, he a whole ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I'm gonna have to go through some things. It's like, man, that's fucked up that's messed up what he did. Like, bro, but you only gonna catch me with my pants down one time, right? So that spirit of discernment that God puts you through, I would say that I think it's a much needed prayer. And I would say to anybody, just be still and be quiet and pay attention to people, because people communicate who they actually are unintentionally if you're quiet enough and let them speak. Listen to them and listen to what they're saying, because they will often tell you their heart, even the word choices that they use, even down to why they said it that way is important in how you read people and understand what's going on around you. So I don't know if that, yeah, I'm hoping that was, that got through to somebody, that you can be still, man, and be present. And as far as working on yourself, just be honest. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's got it together. Even, I don't know, bro, like some of our greatest, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, some of our greatest leaders in our culture had certain blemishes. Nobody's perfect. You have to do the work on yourself and pray for discernment so you can do that.
Mm. Go ahead, Willie. I see in your face, man.
Man, that boy spitting.
Heat.
Hey, he man, like he owned it, and I just wanted to add to the fact is when you searching for your circle, and Corey said this too, but this is what I believe. You have to get outside of yourself because you don't get to pick your circle. Like you don't. And I'm telling you that because I'm a witness. If I got to choose my circle, none of y'all would be on here. I'm just being real. Like if I had to choose my circle, I would have chose people for what was comfortable. Like Corey said, I would have been putting people in places in the wrong spots to be able to get me where I need to go. But when I went outside of myself, when I was honest with myself, I realized I didn't really choose Corey to be my friend to where he's closer than a brother. I didn't choose William to be someone I can have a brother. All I got is 4 sisters. Now I got brothers. I'm like, this is I didn't something that I didn't ask for, I have. And that's what I said earlier. I was thinking to myself, sometimes God gives us all he got to do is just think about us and we get blessed. So sometimes I don't even put in things in prayer, but yet I see it. And y'all know that's just as me. So when I see my circle, I've seen who I wanted, but he gave me something that was better. Cause I was like, I needed somebody like and I told you Will, like I was on this rapid trying to find ET. And instead of ET, he gave me somebody even greater was William. I was on this search bucket, and then next thing you know, he bring me somebody who's phenomenal. Got Corey. Like and then it's just a domino effect. And then Corey, he came with his philosophy. You six, what is it? Six, what is it? 6 away from a millionaire?
It's the 6 degrees of separation.
6 degrees of separation. Now we got Kenneth. And then now it keeps going to where I didn't pick my circle. And if I chose it, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So when you searching for your friends or you searching for your circle or your inner circle, it's gonna be people that you didn't decide to choose.
Yeah, I would say too, man. I don't know why it's coming to my mind, but trust quickly, learn slowly. And the reason why I say that is because you got to get into a process where Corey, people ask me that question all the time. How do you build your team? Hurry up and get hurt. Like you have to be willing to just hurry up and get hurt. Like it's not going to be no perfect team the first time. You're going to have to cut people. Kenneth was just talking about, he had to cut some people, right? Because he had to do some work on himself, right? But these are the things that we have to understand. And, today when I was at the doctor's office with my daughter, man, I seen everybody was in their rightful position. Nobody was trying to do somebody else's job. You feel what I'm saying? Like the office assistant was doing the office assistant stuff. The med tech was doing the med tech. The doctor came in, did his part. The people who drew blood, they did their part. Nobody was trying to say, well, I can do this way. No. Everybody stayed in their rightful lane. And the problem with a lot of people today is that you're so busy trying to do everybody else's lane that you have so many accidents and you don't even have insurance on your own vehicle success. That's the issue, right? So now, like I posted on my Facebook earlier today, before you can become a king, you have to learn how to master being a carpenter. You don't skip levels. Enjoy the process of building something and then enjoying something. We have this stuff backwards. We trying to enjoy without building, not understanding it's the building that's the foundation that's going to sustain you to do what it is that you're sustaining to do. So, for me, I would say to anybody, you're looking to build a team, hurry up and get hurt. Second of all, make sure that you find somebody like Willie talked about, where you're weak, delegate. And also what I would say to you is become so good at what you do that you attract what you lack. Become so good that you just attract people. I had 4 people this year come up to me and say, hey, yo, I just want to work with you just to work with you. You don't have to worry about paying me. Once they added value, I started paying because I see it. If somebody come to me like, yeah, man, this is how much I want to make. I feel you. You want to eat, but why am I going to pay you when I don't even know the value that you bring? I seen the value that you brought for them, but how do I know I'm going to get that same value from you? You feel what I'm saying? So find people who see the vision, not just the check. And I'm going to leave it with this. Enki Johnson says something deep. He said, the reason why people miss a lot of opportunities because there's not a paycheck attached to it. Yeah. Last question, y'all. And then we're going to get up out of here, man. Oh, man. So what would y'all say, man, to somebody out there that's listening? And Ken, you a parent, right, Ken? You a father yet?
Yeah. I got a
Perfect.
yeah,
Love it, right?
Yeah.
What would you say to that parent out there who who has a vision, but they continue to have their spouse downgrade their dream? This is a question that I really want to get answered, right? I really do, because sometimes it's like, yeah, you're married, but I don't know. Y'all get what I'm saying though? Like, I'm just really trying to bring that question out. I know we may get some hate mail, but I just really want to know, like, what do you say to that person? Anybody want to go? Anybody can go. I don't care who it is.
I'm gonna defer to whoever's been married the longest. So I'm gonna sit
Corey,
still on this one.
Corey, like,
Corey, you can't use the word prematurely. Stop now. Oh, bro.
That's a great question, and this is something that I never had to deal with. You know, you have dreamers and you have realists, and dreamers dream, dreamers create, dreamers foresee a lot of things for themselves. And I believe that dreamers are important and realists are important, because the realists help keep dreamers in place. They help keep them on the right path. My wife is definitely a realist, and I'm a dreamer. My wife never downplayed anything that I dreamed of or aspired to be. She's always been in my corner. She's always supported me and what I wanted to do. I think the thing that pissed off my wife was when I didn't know what my purpose was and I couldn't find what my identity was. That's what made her upset, because I truly believe that most women are not upset at their man for dreaming. I believe they're upset when they man have no plan, so the realist can actually operate inside of the plan.
Hey, say it again.
Because if we go biblically, right, the wife is the helpmate. You see what I'm saying? But a wife can't help no man that don't know where he's going.
There you go.
A wife can't play her role when the man that she's married to have no clue of what he's doing.
Come on,
so
bro.
when he doesn't know what he's doing, he takes her out of her position. A wife knows how to help. A wife knows how to put things in place. They bring life to a lot of things. Women are incubators.
Yeah.
They produce life.
Yeah.
And so your dream is something that is really waiting to manifest, and it needs someone to help it do that. And the only way they can do that is if you have a woman that's on your team that can help you see that vision through and bring it to life, because women know how to bring life.
Come on, bro.
They know how to give life.
Come on.
And so that's something that, and what I would say to those who are in a situation like that, where the wife or the woman kills your dreams and doesn't support your dreams, I believe as much as we talk about being unequally yoked when it comes to relationships, you could be unequally yoked when it comes to your dreams and your visions. If somebody's not seeing eye to eye with you, right?
Yeah.
What I would say is this: have that candid conversation. And I want you to really let them know how you feel about what it is you're doing. Because as people, we hope. Hope is the heartbeat to your dreams and visions. Once hope has been snatched from you, your dreams and your vision dies.
Yeah.
And life comes to disrupt. But when life comes to disrupt, you have to be able to transition. And if you cannot transition because you don't know who you are, then you're going to have a very tough time. You're going to have a very tough relationship.
Yeah.
And so I say this all the time. Life wasn't given to us to be easy. Life was given to us to be managed.
Yep, managed.
How are you managing your life? Regardless if they believe in your dreams or not, they're not supposed to support you the way you support you, because it's your dream, not theirs.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so you got to be confident and secure enough in who you are and what it is that God put on the inside of you, regardless of who sees the vision and who doesn't. Because some people ain't anointed to see what God has given you.
You just got to play it out.
You see what I'm saying? And what we do is we try to depend on people. See, you got to know who you can depend on and who you shouldn't depend on.
Come on now.
And a lot of times we think we should be able to depend on our spouse because they're our spouse or our girl or our man in certain aspects, and you should be able to. But everything you do, you can't depend on everybody the way you can depend on you. So that's what I would say.
That's facts, bro. That's you all the way live in there. That was took everything out of my mouth. I just want to add to it is I'm I'm living that situation or has overcame it. And, like I said, my wife in the military, 17 years strong, you know what I'm saying? So I had to take, that route of finding what that purpose was, because what I thought it wasn't it. That was me playing, dribbling the basketball, thinking I was going, I did my purpose, not realizing I did my purpose. Like basketball got me a degree, then basketball took me overseas, played professional. But then after that, it was like life began. So for me, it was like you said, I was 24 and I was still trying to figure it out. And what I came to realization is you can't have two visions. Now, I can have my dream, but in the marriage, you can't have two visions. And it was two visions that was end up being divided. So what we had to do was, like you said, had that conversation to say, hey, like you got to know the person that you with, and you got to know that you may have somebody where you can throw it on the wall and figure out which one stick. But then you may have somebody that's like, look, I need details. I need to see, what's coming in, what's coming out, what's not coming in, what's like. And then now, like you said, like women are here to find that blind spot that we don't see. Like if I'm driving a car, like she should be able to say, hey, I should be able to say, hey, can I get over? Bam, she gonna look in the blind spot, and I ain't gotta do it myself. So she gonna help me see the vision of what we trying to get to our destination. But if we got two visions, and I'm not trusting and saying, hey, like, can I get over? And I do it myself at the same time she doing it. We ain't gonna get nowhere. So I say for the person that's like Corey said, if they are downplaying your dream, though, it may not be downplaying it. It may be the fact that the criticism that they're giving you is helping you, but you looking at it at a way is like they're downplaying your dream when really they supporting it. You just not used to somebody giving you the criticism to push you and help you where you need to go and you've never been, because it seems unreal and different, because they looking at it like, oh, you just doing your little thing. Like, no, they helping you in a way to where it's like, and I'll never forget this with Corey. Like Corey was doing something one night and he was just burning out, burning out, burning out. And his wife said, hey, shut it down because what you putting out is whack. Like, I know if that would have been said to me, I would have been like, man, what you talking about? What? Man, I got all you know what I'm saying? But he knows his wife to where that's what the support was. He shut it down. And then the next video he put out was fire. Fire. I'm talking about like NBA Jam. He's on fire. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but she knew the fact that he was burning himself out. That's his blind spot, because we know what type of person Corey is. You know what I'm saying? It's that thing to where they see the dream, but they also see the vision from here, not from here. Like women see the vision from the heart, not your eyes. That's why if your heart is so as a man think of, so is he. So that's why if men, when we know where we going, they can see the areas that don't have the pathway to say, hey, this what's gonna get you there. Y'all know how we do. Y'all know how it is. Like Will can tell me something, and I can be like, man, that's a great idea. My wife be like, I said that 3 weeks ago. But it's just that's the thing. So I say to people that's listening, where someone is downplaying the dream, I would say focus. Like if you think that if you hear or you feel in their heart that they are downplaying your dream, just ask yourself first, do I have a vision or do we have the same vision? And then have that conversation to say, hey, what vision do we have? And I guarantee you it may be where it's not lining up together to where y'all both going in the same direction. So I would say that just make sure you have the same vision, because you can have different dreams, but also there will be some confirmation when you are one to have a vision to get y'all to the place that you see, because you believe in it more than anybody else. Because like I always say, what you say good about yourself speaks value more than what somebody else speaks, regardless of who it is. So I would say that.
I love it, Willie. The big flamingo. Let's go. Ken, go ahead, bro. And then I'm gonna follow up right behind you. We're gonna close it out with some other stuff.
Okay. Man, everything you brothers offer is definitely valuable, 100% valuable, man. Um, one of the things that I feel is necessary in any relationship is trust. Okay. So, Willie, you described a situation where, uh, Corey went through something and his wife told him, like, yo, that's not what's up, you know. All right. So, in that situation, Corey had to trust his wife enough to go back to the drawing board or whatever he had to do to refine the process to deliver, like what you said, to deliver that fire. If he didn't trust his wife, he would have reacted in a very defensive way. You know what I mean? Trust is very important, but that also has to do with the people that you have around you. Because they have a healthy relationship, he can trust her and know if she's saying this, it's coming from a place of love, it's not to be malicious, right? So, and another thing, like just as far as my personal, what I've been through, when I started my company, my dad wasn't with it. My dad is very important in my life, very integral figure in my life, very I don't know, man. I don't know how to explain. I mean, your dad in any son's life, my dad is very important, very practical, very conservative, very calculated, which has its benefits as well. But my dad didn't see my vision, right? So when I think about my spouse, my fiance now, obviously we're not married yet. Going through that with my dad, I realized that everybody's not going to understand my vision because my vision is God given, right? That's me and God. My vision is given by God. When I go to sleep at night, the things that he puts in my head when I'm out walking or whatever it is that I'm doing, that's me and God. So the things that God places in me, everybody's not going to understand or visualize, right? So you have to know that, and you have to, and that kind of goes into what I was saying earlier about being still. If you're still, you can trust that this is God speaking to you versus just something you just made up. There's a difference as far as how something resonates and vibrates with you, where man, this is it. This is God given. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is the lane I'm supposed to walk down. I'm sure it is. Because it's no other feeling that you have but that when God is speaking to you. And a lot of people, and I experienced this as well, that when God puts you in a position where you start to experience success, you start to feel alone and by yourself. And like, oh man, man, I can't. I was expressing this to my fiance the other day. Certain people I cannot talk about I can't celebrate around because where they are, and it shouldn't be this way, but where they are, it almost seems like I'm stunting on them. Like, oh man, Ken always stunt. He always, no, it's not, man. I'm happy about my success, bro. And I want you to be successful as well. So it's certain things that people are not going to see because the issues that they got going on within themselves. And that can be your spouse. That can be the person that lays right next to you at night that may have something going on with them. And it's not to condemn them. It's something that they're struggling with. So this thing is all about people understanding and knowing who they are as a person. Because when two people come together, this is my assumption. Again, I am not married. This is my assumption. When two people come together and they know who they are, they can communicate in a healthy way. And like basically that situation with Corey and his wife could have went two different ways. If you see what I'm saying? So because they both know who they are, they can sew into each other and iron sharpen iron. That's pretty much it, man. And to another part of it that I had to struggle with related to this is, be conscious of what you're doing to make your wife or your significant other not trust your vision. Be conscious of how you move. Why should she trust you? Why should I trust you? If I don't believe in me, how is she gonna believe in me? And you think that, man, that stuff, you know how you get around somebody that been drinking a bunch of alcohol and you can smell it off of them? If you don't believe in yourself, how can somebody believe in you? So how can you hold your significant other responsible for believing in you, your purpose and your dream and what you're supposed to do? How can you believe in that? How can you have them believe in that if you don't believe in it yourself? It's extremely important, man. It's extremely important that we sit with ourselves and really delve into our purpose. Man, I had a breakthrough with my fiance from watching the movie, what is it called? Soul, that just came out on Disney. That movie is heavy, 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 heavy. Because the consciousness, if people pay attention, the cat that's walking with him, it's not a cat, it's his consciousness that he's talking to. It's his mind that he's talking to while he's walking with that cat. That's man's internal conflict with himself. So you have to really dig into some things. But the breakthrough that I had with her is, I'm a very black and white person to a certain extent. So when you tell me this is my purpose, okay, I look at the Webster dictionary of what purpose is, right? But when I watch that movie, your purpose is it's not just by definition, it's something you can't live without, something you will be unhappy with without doing. Like, you need it in order to breathe. You need it in order to move through your life in a certain way. I can't be happy without doing my purpose. Man, I heard my fiance different after I watched that movie. Because now I get it. I get it why you take less, because I'm a numbers guy. I feel like they undervalue you, but you're not getting your value from the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're getting the value from the purpose, how it fulfills you, what you are able to give other people. And because I'm a numbers guy, I have to be, and that comes from doing the work on myself. I know that I'm a numbers guy. I'm not going to understand that, but I trust my fiance enough to know, and also having that breakthrough, that this is what you need. So why would I, like y'all say about the spouse downplaying this and that? That was me. That was me. I was like, no, they don't pay you enough. You shouldn't do that. No, go do this, go do X, Y, and Z. But is she gonna be happy with her life? And I'm telling you, bro, like, I didn't see her vision for her life. And she lay right next to me every night. We have a son together. But I didn't see her vision. But it came to me, thank God, through this movie, Soul, because it spoke to me in a way I could, okay, purpose. Okay, my bad. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta, like, you have to really, I'm telling you, men, bro, like, pay attention. If your wife don't trust you, don't get emotional and say, man, my wife don't trust me. The question you gotta ask is, why? Why does my wife not trust me? Why does my it don't have to be man or woman. Why does my significant other not trust me? What am I doing? Me, looking at myself, what am I doing so that my significant other doesn't trust me? When you look at yourself honestly and openly, it's different. It's different. You make the changes, and it brings about an immediate return. I promise you it does. I live it this whole year. It brings about an immediate return. And it may not be financial return. It may be the way that you have a relationship. Oh man, this person is more open with me than they have been ever. It's just something about, bro, man, I'm trying not to like, trust me, bro. Like, do the work on yourself. And when you do the work on yourself, man, I talked to my counselor the other day. Man, when I removed my arrogance and the things that I had going on with myself, I seen my fiance for the first time. And I've been with my fiance almost 15 years. When I removed my arrogance and the things that I was dealing with out of the way, I seen that she was hurting because I wasn't consumed with myself. When you move out of your own way and you start doing the work on yourself, I'm telling you, you have breakthroughs, and life is a lot more colorful, and you can see people as human beings and not objects.
Hey, Hey, bro. I would. Let me. I'm just gonna say what I need to say, and then we can see what else we can do to help the people out going into the new year. So, yo, first of all, what I want to say is some of us need to kill the dreams, and some of us just need to have realistic execution. Because some of us have been dreaming so long, and you've been dreaming to do X, Y, and Z, and you still haven't completed none of it. Second thing I'm gonna say, when you're in the right circle, there's no time for jealousy. There's only time to apply pressure. So when I see Corey do what he do, Ken do what he do, and Willie do what he do, it's not like, well, God, how come you let Willie, meet with this person? Or how come you let Ken make this money? Or how come you let Corey have all this gas in his tank? You feel me? It's like, yo, like, no. When you in the right environment, there's no time for hate or jealousy. It's just time to support. It's just time to continue to grow. And when you're in the right circle, they stretch you. So Corey, like, yo, as soon as Corey posted Les Brown, I'm like, yeah, Tony Robbins next. We don't stop. You apply the pressure. And sometimes you're in the wrong circle because people just want you to have small wins because they want you to have a small life. But with you in the right circle, they say, yo, that's all you want? You just want a new car? Or do you want to buy the whole car lot? Which one, bro? You feel me? Like, yo, you just got one truck, Ken? No. We want to have 15 trucks. Let's go. Let's get it, right? So some of us are in the wrong circle. Your circle ain't applying pressure. I know we applying pressure all 2020, going into 2022, right? And for me, man, you touched on it. Corey touched on it and Ken touched on it about being realistic. For me, for a while, man, I was speaking, but I wasn't getting paid. In the beginning of my career, I wasn't getting paid. And I got aggravated because I'm like, yo, I kept telling my wife, yo, babe, man, I got another gig, Is it paid? Nah, but I got another gig. Now I got a gig. And the reason why she was saying, was it a paid gig, is because you got bills at the end of the day. Your dream don't pay your bills. Your execution does. That's why I'm saying kill the dream and be realistic. So now when I say to my wife, she don't want to hear I got the gig. She want to hear, yo, I just cashed out $12,000. Just like that. Or I just brought in another client today, 2,500. That's what she want to hear. She don't want to hear all this, I have a dream. Everybody got a dream, but your dream don't pay your bills. Your execution does. So I just wanted to just let y'all know that, man. Like, yo, man, this episode was fire. But what I want to do is, if each and every single one of us have some time, I want to take at least like 15 minutes and just like serve the people. So if you listening on Facebook right now, you have a question, drop the question right now. I'm gonna close the podcast. So it's a squad. Just letting you know, live to be remembered and don't live just to exist. We'll see y'all next week.